Hello. Welcome to our fourth video where we are going to be looking at probably everyone's favorite topic throughout this whole school year, word problems. And if you weren't quite sure, I was being quite sarcastic there, but word problems is kind of a necessary evil. It is something that we do have to look at. I know it's not most people's favorites, but it is really and truly important. That's a lot of the real world applications of math. So, let's go ahead and look at this first word problem here, and then we can go ahead and talk about how you can solve this. So, our first problem. A bolt of fabric is a large rectangular strip of fabric. Alyssa designs her own fabric. The design is then produced and placed on a bolt that is 91.4 meters long and 1.23 meters wide. For part A, we need to determine the area of a bolt of fabric with Alyssa's design. So this is actually tying back in a little bit with something you guys should have learned back in elementary school, area. Since it's a rectangular strip, what we're looking at here then when we're talking about that area, or what I want you to remember rather, is that area is really just going to be a multiplication problem here. Because when you're looking at this, we're going to take these two different measurements here and we need to multiply those. So we are taking 91.4 and we are going to multiply that with 1.23. All right. So if we take these, and again, you have a calculator, just type it in your calculator and multiply, we're going to get 112.422. All right. So our answer really 112.422. All right. So that's our first part here. For part B, Alyssa uses the fabric to make pillowcases. Each pillowcase uses 1.9 square meters of fabric. We need to determine the number of pillowcases Alyssa can make using a bolt of her fabric. So for this problem here, we need to think about what math operation should we be using for this. Hopefully you were thinking division, because we are going to have to divide to determine our answer. If each pillowcase uses 1.9, we're going to take 1.9 from this total here of that 422. You're taking that out each time, but you're going to have to do that multiple times. If you were thinking subtraction, you were on the right track, but we want to kind of think a little bit further here, because each time you take one out, you're essentially subtracting 1.9. If you make another pillowcase, that's another 1.9 you're taking out. If you make another pillowcase, it's another 1.9 that you're taking out. That's really subtraction multiple times, or repeated subtraction. Well, repeated subtraction is really just division. So, in our calculators, we can take 112.422, and then we can divide that by 1.9. So, when you type this in your calculator, you might see something kind of weird happen where you get this like really, really long decimal. But if you're looking at the answer key, you might see that the answer key says something kind of different. Where the answer key is only saying the answer is 59. So part of the reason why I made these videos is so that I can help kind of explain why the answer key might be a little bit different from what answers you guys are getting, and talk about your test as well. On your test, you're not going to see something like this where your answer is not going to quite match up with what is expected. What happened with the answer key and what wasn't explained in the directions, though it should have been, is that we wanted you to round. Specifically, we wanted you to round it to the nearest whole number. So if we were rounding this to the nearest whole number, your answer would be 59. Because the answer you're getting in there should have been 59 point blah, 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 blah. We just round out to the 59 there. For the purposes of your test, though, any problem you have to do will give you a nice terminating decimal. meaning it's a decimal that will end. It's not going to keep going on and on and on. The numbers also should be something where it's going to make sense. If you are working through the word problems and you're getting something kind of crazy, that should be a sign to you that maybe something went wrong and you should go back and double check your work. All right, but this is looking at question number 6 here. In the next video, we're going to go ahead and take a look at question number 7.